I was wrong. I admit it. I am man enough to admit when I make a mistake or when I am otherwise wrong about something. I, ever since this version of the movie was announced, have been just certain that it wasn't going to be any better than the original. I'm like, well, I don't like Man of Steel or BVS, and those are both the Snyder cut. And I'm talking about the Ultimate Edition of BVS. And I'm like, well, I don't like those movies, so why would I like this version of Justice League any better? The only reason I was hype for it was because I was glad that fans that have been wanting this since 2017 were finally getting it. I had no attachment otherwise to the project. I was like, I don't care. But now that I've seen it, you got me, Zach. You got me. Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, two things right away. This is going to be pretty spoiler heavy because I don't feel like making a second video about this. And secondly, I'm going to give you a brief rundown of the timeline of the Justice League film if you're not quite aware of what this whole thing is. What the hell is the Snyder Cut? I'll tell you. Um, in 2016 to 2017, Zack Snyder and Warner Brothers were shooting the Justice League movie. He was attached to the project, he was directing it, and they ended up shooting what was about 4 hours worth of movie. There was some debate back and forth about whether or not Warner would release it as 2 films or 1 mega long film. But before they could really start editing it and getting all the post-production stuff done, Zack Snyder had a terrible family tragedy, and he had to step away from the project. Warner, though, being Warner, they wanted to get the movie out at the same time that it was supposed to, so they brought on Joss Whedon, the director of the first 2 Avengers movies, to finish it up, and he decided to reshoot some things, re-edit some things, and they trimmed 4 hours and 2 minutes into 1 hour 57 minutes. Or I think it was like maybe 59 minutes. And that version of the movie came to be known as the Justice League. And there were a lot of problems with it. A lot of people disliked it, especially now that Joss Whedon has been outed as a problematic individual. So pretty much right after that movie came out, and since we knew so much of the behind-the-scenes stuff, fans around the world wanted the Snyder version of the movie to be released. So there was a hashtag release the Snyder Cut for about 3 years. Some of the representatives of this release the Snyder Cut movement were very not representative of the whole, and that's kind of how Snyder's fan base works in general. You have people that just admire him and respect him as a filmmaker, and then you have people that take that a little too far. I respect him. I don't like most of his movies, but this movie... Now, initially, I had planned on just saying the stuff that I liked first and then bracing myself for your reaction as I talked about all the things that I didn't like. But I liked the movie, so we're going to do that in the opposite order. We're going to get through the stuff that I didn't like first, and then I'm just going to sing this movie's praises. Something that I thought was going to bother me a lot more than it actually did was the aspect ratio. This movie's presented to you in a 4:3 aspect ratio because that's what Zack wanted. At first it bothered me, but by the time it was over, I had completely forgotten about it, so that's not really a big deal. It might bother you, but I really doubt it. I'm sure you'll be able to get wrapped up into the movie just the same. The design for Steppenwolf, I still don't think is very good. He looks different. And he looks more like what you saw at the end of the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs. Superman. But he doesn't look anything more like Steppenwolf. I still am not crazy about Barry Allen's personality. I thought that was a Joss Whedon thing. Apparently it's a Zack Snyder thing. I really did not like that super speed sequence where he saves Iris and he snatches a hot dog and he just kind of stares at Iris and like touches her a little bit. That was weird. That was a little creepy. And that's kind of indicative of the movie not needing to be 4 hours long. Could have been 3.5. There's some moments that meander, that kind of linger on things for longer than they should. There's some moments that kind of seem, it's like, really? Does that matter that much? But you know what? At the end of it, I was totally fine. So that doesn't bother me too much. It's just there's some sequences that are weird. I don't like Barry's personification in this movie. I just think they wrote him to be comic relief, but the wrong way. If you want a good example of the Flash being comic relief, watch Justice League or Justice League Unlimited. The Wally West Flash on there is perfect comic relief. I don't know why in live action that just doesn't translate. There were some things from the original, like the theatrical version of the movie, that I was blaming Joss Whedon for, but apparently it was Zack. I didn't like them fighting Berserk Superman when he came back to life. I didn't like the suicide mission Batman had in the final act. I didn't like some of the jokes, like when Barry's like, "Hi Barry, I'm Diana." Like some of the jokes and some of the humor felt very Whedon. Zorro, can you stop bumping my tripod? Felt very Whedon, but apparently it was Snyder. There's nothing I can do about that. It's just something else in the movie that I didn't really like. Apart from that, I have some nitpicks. Oh, I really don't understand. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of a thing, so bear with me. At the beginning of the movie, you get a recap of Superman's death at the end of Batman vs. Superman, and he's releasing this cry, this shout, that the whole world hears, apparently. And it sends out these shock waves. And it focuses in on things that it directly impacts, like Lex Luthor is like, good, the super is dead. The people that are guarding the mother boxes are like, oh, whoa, whoa. Why is Superman's death the thing that's awakening the mother boxes, first off? Second, Steppenwolf, who I can barely fucking hear in this movie, sounds like Megatron. I don't like that either. The villains are very hard to understand. Steppenwolf is like, no lanterns, no Kryptonian. It's like, no Krypton. Superman was only active on Earth for like a year and some change. How do you know that much about him? How do you know to have been scared of him? Has there been another Kryptonian on Earth before Superman? Like, it's weird that, like, because you had thousands of years before Superman was on Earth to enact your plan. And then Clark Kent, Kal-El was only on Earth for about 33 years before he died. And of those 33 years, he spent a year and a half active as Superman. It just feels like they had a lot of time to do this without having to worry about a Kryptonian. But if they know how dangerous Kryptonians are, have they encountered one before? And then later on in the movie, Steppenwolf talks to Darkseid about the mother boxes and the anti-life equation all having been left on Earth. There is some sort of like legend or fable about like a primitive world that Darkseid left the mother boxes on and a primitive world that the anti-life equation was on. Did Darkseid not know what planet he went to that he lost the mother boxes on? Because it seems like they didn't realize it was Earth. Because like they've been, apparently Steppenwolf has searched like 100,000 Earths, or worlds rather, looking for the mother boxes. Did Darkseid not tell everybody where to go? Did he not realize what planet he was on? Also, why was he on that planet if he didn't realize the anti-life equation was there? Like, that's kind of weird. Apart from that, though, that's all my problems with the movie. So let's talk about all the great stuff. I mentioned earlier that I'd be spoiling things for you. Martian fucking Manhunter. And I've completely forgotten that Zack said that Martian Manhunter was going to be in the movie and that he was the military guy from the previous two films. Martian fucking Manhunter. I love Martian Manhunter. He's one of my favorite characters on the Justice League. He's so cool. I was kind of hoping that he would show up in the final battle. But speaking of the final battle, Superman with the black suit, he beats the shit out of he fucked Steppenwolf up. Steppenwolf dies like he didn't in the theatrical cut. I don't know why he survived. There's actually a logical reason as to how he was defeated rather than just, oh, he inspired everybody and now they're fighting back. They were actually kind of doing okay before Superman showed up. Superman absolutely brutalizing Steppenwolf. I love it. I love watching Superman cut loose against, like, that type of villain. Like when he's fighting Darkseid or a Mongol or something like that. I love seeing Superman cut loose like that. It's so good. Darkseid in the movie looked amazing. I will admit that the marketing for the movie kind of upplayed his relevance to the plot of the movie. He's not that important. Steppenwolf got characterization. Cyborg got characterization. The Flash got characterization. The entire first 2 hours of this 4-hour epic is just characterization. Backstory, dialogue, character interactions, character building, character development. It's so fucking good. There's team up moves in the final battle, shit that I love seeing, like in Avengers Age of Ultron, where where Thor hits Steve's shield with a hammer and it goes stuff like that. Combo moves where two characters use their abilities together. Stuff that you do in fucking Ultimate Alliance, stuff like that. I love seeing it. And I don't remember it being in the theatrical cut, but it's here in this one, and it actually feels earned because each... Okay, you have Cyborg, Wonder Woman, Flash, Aquaman, Superman, Batman. Well, Superman's not in the movie that much, but the 5 before Superman gets brought into it. Name any 2 random sets, like any set of 2 characters from that list, they all have a moment together. It's so good. It's so good. Cyborg was almost my favorite character in the movie. But then the Flash MVP. Holy shit. Barry is literally the MVP of the second act, half of this movie. The final act is all so fucking good, dude. Like, oh man. All the Aquaman shit is great. Mira, if she wasn't played by Amber Heard, I would have felt a lot better. She does cool stuff. Fucking Volko's in this movie, kind of taking Mira's place in certain scenes. Fucking Alfred in this movie is great. I'm trying to remember what the hell happens. Okay. Keep it real. This is a 4-hour movie. It's extremely long. It is difficult to remember everything that happens in it. I did have some notes about some of my criticisms, but I started the movie over and I kind of caught it. So there's even some things that are improved from the original version, obviously, because in the theatrical version, you might remember Diana giving Bruce this entire expositional speech about what happened in the past and how Steppenwolf was defeated on Earth previously, but it was actually Darkseid in this version of the movie. But it's like, well, where did she get all that information from? In this movie, you find out where she got all that information from. You see her obtain the information, so that's how she's able to tell all of this stuff to Bruce. The scene where Bruce is talking to Arthur in that bar, there's no fucking convenient ass drawing of the mother boxes. There's also no subplot about the parademons responding to a certain noise frequency, because that shit was stupid. There's little details, like there's a 60-second long exchange between Alfred and Diana about Alfred building these energy absorbing gauntlets for Bruce so that you see why he's able to block lasers from the parademons. It's just like Zack put so much fucking care and effort into crafting the story for this movie. It's ridiculous. And then to think that he edited this version of the movie for free. He obviously loved this movie and he wanted us all to see it. Which is funny because the story changed a lot, because it's like, does a Snyder Cut exist? And Zack was like, yes, I have it. I have the reels. And Jason Momoa was like, I've seen it. And then once it got confirmed to be happening, it's like, well, I need time to make it look good. And then it's like, well, I need to reshoot some things. And it's just like, did the Snyder Cut really exist? Or did you just take the footage that existed and make this version of the movie? But it pains me. It really fucking hurts my feelings that Warner decided to fuck this movie up, and then Warner decided that the DCEU was effectively dead, and then Warner decided to reboot the Batman character, and then Warner decided to start trying to greenlight a Superman reboot, and then Warner decided to release this version of the movie. Knowing damn well that upon seeing it, most people would want a sequel with these fucking actors as these characters. I want to see Ben Affleck as Batman again. I want to see Henry Cavill as Superman again. Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller, and Jason Momoa haven't left their roles, but it's like, I want a sequel to this Justice League movie. With the post-credit scene, well, not really post-credit scene, the ending scene with Deathstroke and Lex Luthor, I want a Batman movie where Ben Affleck Batman fights Joe Manganiello Deathstroke. And they knew that would be what we wanted upon seeing this version of the movie. Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson can coexist as Batman. I want to see them both fuck shit up on screen. But I think it goes without saying that this version of the movie is way fucking better. I love the sequence where Barry has to go back in time and undo his mistake because he fucked up, got himself hurt, and as a result, the entire Justice League got wiped out as well as most of the Earth. But in that moment where the destruction was happening, Barry was able to go back in time and prevent it. Super cool. Shit. Super cool sequence. Loved it. I love a lot of the dialogue in this movie. Zack Snyder does struggle with dialogue sometimes. You know what? When Superman put on the black suit and he flew up into space and he did the Jesus arms, I typically don't like the Jesus imagery. I have a video coming out about that. I don't typically like that, but I was totally fine with it for this. The scene at the end where he opens his shirt and you see the suit, I feel like that should have been the red and blue. Because for the purpose of the final battle where Superman just came back to life, the black suit makes sense. He needs to absorb more sunlight. It also looks a lot cooler. And he's being really brutal towards his villain. But as far as like everyday Superman stuff, saving the day, he should be wearing the red and blue. At least that's how I feel. But it doesn't bother me. It doesn't take away from my enjoyment of the movie. Overall, this movie's fucking awesome. It's great. It's my favorite Zack Snyder movie, and it's one of my favorite DC movies, which completely blows my mind. I think it's tied for first place as far as my favorite DCEU movies go with Shazam. I can't move Shazam. I have too many personal attachments to that movie. But holy shit, man. I guess I should rate this movie, huh? Zack Snyder's Justice League is spectabulous. And Zack Snyder's Justice League, have you committed the 4 hours to watching it? It's weird that it came out on a Thursday instead of on the weekend when people would have more free time. But I mean, you do still have the whole weekend to watch. You can watch it whenever. Because my initial rating was going to be it's worth buying on Blu-ray, but it's on streaming. So I was like, well, it's worth streaming. But it's like, but no, it's better than that. Like, if I were to give this movie a numerical rating, it's an 8, maybe 8.5 out of 10 for me. It's fucking incredible. Like I said, I do have some criticisms, and I can understand people still not liking this version of the movie. But me, I got everything I wanted. I don't really see conceptually why the movie had to be rated R. There's 3 F words that I can remember. And then there's a lot of blood. But apart from that, if you scaled down the blood, it's all digital blood anyway, so if you scaled all that back, it would just be a PG-13 movie. But I respect it. I fucking love this movie. I'm probably gonna watch it again today. I don't have anything better to do after I release this video. So all that being said, see you soon. I'm supposed to wink, huh?